Last season was a good one. The game's on the up and up. This year it'll be even better. True, we've lost some giants. They were a credit to the game. But we've also found some young'uns. They promise to be the same. That's what the big game's all about. It happens every year. We lose a few of our heroes, but find others who know no fear. We see them give it all they know. We see them give it their best shot. 'Cause whether unknown or famous, you gotta give it all you got. That season was a good one. We saw a big man walking tall. But who will it be this year to collect the greatest prize of all?
Sunday, November the 8th, 1987, Central Park, Wigan. Today is a very dull, dank, murky November afternoon. Already at 3 p.m. the lights are on, but the spectators crowded on the terracing will be hoping that any gloom will soon be dispersed by the brilliance of these two great teams, Wigan of England and Auckland of New Zealand. The Wigan team for this afternoon at number 1 Hobson, number 2 Marshall, number 3 Stevenson, 4 Lydon, 5 Russell, 6 is Edwards and 7 Gregory. At 8 Lucas, 9 Kiss, 10 Wayne, 11 Goodway, 12 Gildart, 13 Hanley, who just led his team out, captain for today. Substitutes for Wigan are Byrne at number 14 and Potter at 15. The Auckland team in the royal blue with the white chevrons at number 1 Creaker, at number 2 Panapa, at number 3 Hero, adding interest to this game as soon he will be a Wigan player. At 4 Timavave and at 5 Shane Hero. 6 Freeman and 7 Friend, 8 Brown, 9 Hooker and 10 Lonergan, 11 Mark Oro, 12 O'Regan and 13 Cooper, 14 is Tia Rapate and 14 Peter Rapate. Referee in the centre at the moment with the two captains is Mr. Kershaw. Players lining up with Wigan playing from left to right, and it looks as if Auckland have won the toss, and it will be Wigan to start the game, kicking off from left to right, kicking from the pavilion end of the ground down towards the packed Spine Cup. Ellery Hanley in the centre of the field, waiting for Joe Lydon to come over. Lydon, knee heavily strapped. Wigan have had a hard season so far. They've had a lot of games, they've been plagued by injuries. 1 league game lost, otherwise having a great run. And the crowd here looking forward to a great game between two great teams. Kershaw waving them off as Lydon high into the 25 in 22, taken by Mark Oro, driving up to the 22 line. 3 Wigan forwards hanging on to him. Hooker doing a little dummy there, and once again it's tight in the forwards, coming hard on the ball in these early stages. Hooker acting out back, and Wigan caught offside, up too quickly at the play of the ball, so the first penalty comes to Auckland. Peter Brown, open side prop forward, 12 yards in from the touchline. Hoists it high and sure over the touchline. It's marked by the touch judge 5 yards inside the Wigan half. Hooker coming up, once again forward, ploughing in hard, driving in. Game very much among the forwards at the moment as they sort each other out. And there was a New Zealand player standing by the side of the play the ball. The referee's not having it. He wanted him to go back as well. So now Wigan get a penalty for New Zealand being offside at the play the ball. Joe Lydon gets it into touch. 9 yards inside the Auckland half. Nicky Kiss coming up with the tap. Nicky Kiss decides he's going to take them on his own, and he's hurled back by good strong defensive tackling. Edwards there at first pass, and they do a switch. And it's Lucas who's trying to go through, and he's down very strongly by Brown. Came in well. Wigan keeping it in the forward as now Gildart tries to cut through, but there's no passage. Wigan working the switches. Comes out to Gregory. Gregory holding it. On to Goodway. Goodway's lost it. Comes straight into the welcoming arms of Auckland. Hooker coming around the narrow side. On to Horo fighting for every inch of ground. Long pass from Friend across the field, and a dummy turned back in. David Stevenson up to put his man down. Friend waiting behind to play the ball. Moving it across the field. Kick behind the Wigan defence. Little overhead kick. Danger here as Hampson takes it beautifully, running it out well. Looking for support, still on his feet. Good strong run by Hampson. Marshall, this novice first teamer, moves it inside to Gregory. Gregory back to Marshall, and Marshall is down, well tackled by the two prop forwards by Lonergan and Brown to Gregory. Gregory switching it back inside onto Wayne. Wayne puts his shoulder in. A lot of strength in these tattlers. Gregory coming over to acting half-back, flings a long one back. Lydon hoists it high in the air. It's well covered, and it's not well taken by Panapa. Fumbled it, coming inside, and Wigan have gained a lot of ground. Auckland a bit slow coming back, acting half-back, having to run it out. Creaker coming away well, giving his team time to regroup. Once again, it's Tightham and the acting half-backs, and they're coming onto the ball, and Wigan going to be in trouble here. I think referee said an elbow went in while he was on the ground, and so it's the penalty, which will be taken by Brown for an infringement by Wigan in the tackle. Brown out towards the Wigan left wing. Not a very good kick. To be kept in play by Russell. Russell stepping outside, and his feet go from under him, and he slips down just inside his own half. Kiss holding it. Wayne puts his shoulder in, bounces one off. Cooper comes across well to force him down. On to Lucas. Lucas, another very young prop forward of Wigan's. Gildart turned well, missed out. Comes on to Hadley. Hadley on to Stevenson. On to Lydon. Lydon going through, and he's bundled over the touchline. First real move by Wigan. They made a bit of a gap, and the cover came across well to force Lydon over the touchline. So we come to the first scrum of the game. 5 minutes gone. Forwards reluctant to meet. Hooker knocked down. Their feet are all over the place, and penalised for incorrect feeding. He had much of an option. There were feet all over the pack, and Friend put it in the second row. They had to put in one or other of the second row, and it's Wigan who've got the penalty, and it will be David Stevenson to kick for touch down the Auckland left wing, right up the 25 line. Kiss coming up, taking them on his own again, ploughing in, doesn't gain very much ground. We've got Gregory waiting for the first pass. Gregory trying to run. There was a bit of obstruction behind the play of the ball, not deliberately, couldn't get at the ball. Now it comes to Goodway. Goodway switching direction onto Hadley. Hadley gets it onto Lydon. Lydon dumming, gets it back out. Wigan go around in decreasing circles as Stevenson eventually makes a good run, but he's smothered by blue jerseys. Still on the 25. Wigan not penetrating at the moment. To Gregory. Gregory on to Edwards. Edwards holding it to Hadley. Hadley being well taken and watching him very carefully, and Wigan a bit lost 10 yards of ground. Gildart moving into Wigan, try grub a kick, beats Banniper, rolls over the touchline. Referee saying it was touched, I think, before it went in which case it will be Wigan to feed. Referee standing on the narrow side of the field. Gregory coming round. Wigan in a good attacking position now as a little bit of idleness do should feed. And it's and a penalty against Wigan for feet up in the scrum. The referee signals quite graphically that Wigan were across the pack. Edwards coming up very quickly into the gap in the Wigan line out. Been spotted and a good break, good play by Auckland. A good weight came in with an extremely heavy tackle. Auckland moving the ball well, trying to turn it inside very nicely. Onto Regan. Regan gets it onto Hero, and Hero is being put down on the halfway line. The ball's gone loose, he's lost it. And I think no, he still has possession as it's played back onto Horo onto Friend. Kick behind the Wigan defence, a good kick into the Wigan 25, and it's rolling and over the touchline. And so Auckland now for the first time come up into the Wigan 25. Good attacking position for them here. 20 yards out from the Wigan line, 6 minutes gone. Referee wanted them out on the 10-yard line. Still not done properly. 8 still struggling to get his head in as the ball's kicked straight out of the tunnel. The referee wanted them up, saying don't collapse the scrum. Trying to send them out, and he's penalised Wigan for lying down in the scrum, taken quickly by Brown. Across onto Freeman. Freeman, a beautiful long pass. Wigan well stretched, and they've knocked on with the line wide up. Ball still loose, snatched up by Wigan. Line having a run, cover going across. And he can't get his pass inside, and his feet go over the touchline in what looked at, for a moment, as if Wigan were going to menace down the left wing, but good cover by Auckland, forced sliding over the touchline. Referee having a bit of problems with the scrummaging, with a few scrum penalties in these early minutes. A lot of manoeuvring in the front rows for position. And it's penalty to Wigan this time, and New Zealand penalised for not forming the scrum correctly. The referee signaling that number 9 hooker for Auckland was down on the floor too soon, and line will kick for touch down the Auckland right wing. Wigan kiss coming up, will start 10 yards inside the Auckland half. Onto Edwards, Edwards holding it, short pass, Wigan trying to drive through, one man at a time though. Crowd moaning and groaning, they're not happy with this form of play from Wigan, as now Wayne and Goodway trying to bust, slips a lovely pass on. Wigan coming inside, and Auckland cover well, but that was a nice break by Wigan, well slipped by Goodway. Wigan player flat out on the floors as Edwards moving it across onto Gregory. Gregory running, not giving it to Hanson, who'd linked up. But Auckland moving up very quickly. David Stevenson out to Edwards. Edwards a short one onto Gildart, and Gildart's well taken out of the game. Wigan out on the wing, Russell having a run inside, and Edwards can't take it cleanly, knocks on with the line wide up. Referee will bring them back for the knock on. Ball's plonked down over the try line, but Wigan had knocked on. And so we'll have to fight for possession just inside the Auckland 25. Goodway coming back into the fray, going in as loose forward, having been hurt, and the pack's nearly over the touchline. We can switch the pack around, only 5 yards from the touchline. Referee will surely send them in field, and he does. Wigan knocked down as the ball goes in. Freeman trying to make a break, dancing around from the scrum. Hanley breaking quickly, puts him down inside the Auckland 25. Tight in the forwards, and Wigan coming in hard and pinning them down, pinning Auckland down inside their own 25. Ball's nicely flicked back, good play by Auckland, a good break down this wing, Dumming, and Marshall comes inside. Hero waiting behind to play the ball, moves it across, back onto Hero. Hero hands it on, out onto Lonigan, and Lonigan's taken. Booker waiting behind to play the ball, moves it across. High kick, going to go in play. Marshall did very well to stay in play, took it well, still struggling, but eventually it's forced to the ground by Horo. Stevenson inside to Hampson. Hampson nailed as he receives the ball. Stevenson having a run from behind to play the ball, and Auckland coming in very quickly and very smartly, and Wigan finding it very difficult to get the line moving. Now it comes Gregory. Gregory long on to Edwards. Edwards moving it across onto Goodway. Goodway to Hanley. Hanley gets it out to line, and Wigan have whipped the ball across the field and not gained an inch of ground. Russell now behind to play the ball to Edwards. Edwards a short one. Wigan keeping it tight in the forwards at the moment. Referee signalling that 5 tackles have gone as it's flung back to line. Line dummies, changing direction, keeping it moving. Wigan are on the last tackle. It comes to Russell. The referee says it's a forward pass. The referee standing on the narrow side of the field all the time, and Pack's very untidy. As the ball goes in, it's locked. Friend gets it out to Freeman, kicks behind the Wigan defence. Hampson having to backpedal as the ball rolls into the in-goal area and over the dead ball line, just a little too far. And so we come back to the 25. Edwards wanting to get on with it quickly, takes it sharpish, holding it, trying to have a run on his own, and he's heavily bounced down. Freeman really hammered him then. Wayne now gets up to, lets the ball go, and the ball's still loose on the floor. Players fighting for it. The referee's going to give the knock on. We're going to regain possession. Wayne trying to give a pass that wasn't really on. This is a stern, dour struggle among the Packs at the moment. Neither side can get out of the grip of the defences as Friend comes round to feed the scrum. Number 8's both standing up. Ball's coming out the New Zealand side. Friend running away, managed to get his pass in. Joe Line hanging on to Creaker, who'd come up into the line. Friend waiting behind to play the ball. On to Cooper, the loose forward. Cooper moving it across. Line goes across well to take him out of the game. New Zealand still tight in the forward, but that's good strong running. Battle away into the Wigan 25. Now it comes out to Friend. Friend moving it out. On to Horo. Horo being held. Wigan having the job to get him down as he goes down 12 yards out, right in front of the Wigan post. Comes to Cooper. Cooper changing direction, switching it back in, and he dropped the ball. This will be a knock-on. Referee going over to see what's happened. Decided that Wigan have gained possession, so the advantage is Wigan. There's no knock-on, and this time it's Auckland who are caught offside. As Gregory wanting it quickly, but it's surely going to call Lydon over and kick for touch, looking for Lydon. Now he's giving it to David Stevenson. Stevenson going to kick for touch down the Auckland left wing. It slews off the outside of his boot somewhat. Kiss coming over. Once again, it seems to be Wigan's ploy for today. They're not moving it away from the tap penalty. Gregory switching it on to Gildart. Gildart runs into the opposition, causing them no problems. And now it's Lucas, and he's dropped it. Not a lot of coordination or teamwork or fluid football coming from Wigan at the moment. Friend comes round the pack. Now we have a good scrum. Friend puts it in, it's coming out. Clean lane, does a switch onto Freeman. Freeman's well taken, it's up quickly to play it. Loose forward Cooper going across wide, trying to bust through. Wigan are up to the task. As Hooker, once again it's tight in the forwards. As number 10 Lonigan tries to battle his way through up to the Wigan 25. Out to Friend. Friend moving it across to Freeman. Freeman back up to Friend, and nearly a good break there by Horo. Gregory managed to stop it in time. Out to Friend holding in a short one, out onto O'Regan, and O'Regan being taken, and neither side denting the defence at the moment as the referee signals 5 tackles have gone, and we've been playing 15 minutes. The loose forward switches it back inside onto the hooker. He kicks a high ball, taken on the try line by Marshall, does it well, brings it into play, but it's very safe catching, and that was a nasty kick. It was only a yard in from the touchline, and right on the corner flag. Wigan not coming forward as Gregory comes over to behind to play the ball. On to Edwards moving it across field. On to Goodway trying to break through. Sent his passes and Wigan have made the break. Light coming down the middle, sidestepping on a beautiful tackle by Fred. Good break by Wigan, doing the run around. Gregory changed direction, trying to come down the middle. And he's nobbled by the loose forward and the scrum half. Kiss. Out to Edwards putting a kick behind the defence. And it's covered by Creaker coming inside. Goodway's up there, Goodway hanging on to him, puts him down well on the 25 line. Lets him go quickly, and the acting half-back having to run across. And Gildart is up quickly as well. The rain's starting to come down. Azero gains a good 10 yards of ground, and he bounced down heavily by his future colleagues. Hooker moving it inside, short pass. Good play onto Brown, nice play as Freeman running out wide, and they keep the ball moving well. Going out onto Panapa, and Panapa turns it back inside onto Timavave. The referee, none too happy, shrieks on his whistle. Gives the scrum down, says the pass was forward. Once again, the Wigan number 8 having trouble getting his head in. As Gregory feeds, it comes out to Gregory, onto Russell, who's linked up. Russell coming inside, can't get very far as he's well tackled. Hanley behind to play the ball, knocks off one. Dummies to kick, still coming strong, a strong hand up, and eventually Whittle twirled around and down. Good tackle by Holo. Wigan finding it very, very difficult to make ground. It's hard and tough this game. It goes to Edwards. Edwards a long pass to Gregory. Gregory changed direction, breaks through down the middle. He has Edwards with him, but it's Hanley who's on taking it. But it's been well read by Auckland, and Wigan going to get a penalty. Yes, the referee gives it for lying on. Wigan were wanting to play it quickly. It was held down by Cooper. Wigan having a little confidence as whether they should kick for goal or kick for touch. Hanley has a word with Stevenson. Stevenson decides with 18 minutes gone and Wigan not cracking the defence, the only way to get points on the board is by attempting this very long range kick. Yards inside the Auckland half and about 10 yards to the right of the post as he looks down to the spine top end of the ground. Rain coming down on this dull November day as Stevenson moving back slightly to the left, very slightly round the corner. Going to hit it side-footed. Stabs at it, lifts it high and wide, just misses the near post. So it'll be a dropout from the Auckland 25. No feast of points so far as these two teams battle for supremacy. Coming to Hansen, 35 yards out. Hansen trying to come down the middle, runs into Cooper, who makes no mistake in putting him down. Kiss, short one onto Wayne. Wayne puts his shoulder into the forwards, takes him with him a couple of yards. Now it's Lucas's turn. Lucas trying to blow through. Good break by Lucas. Throws a pass in that wasn't on. It was round Russell's shins. He made a good run and then made a real mess of it as he tried to get the ball out to Russell on the wing. Friend to feed. Goes straight through. And Wigan have won it. I thought that ball went straight through the scrum. Wigan are very fortunate to have possession of that. They were dropped on by Hanley. Gregory out to Edwards. Edwards to Lydon. Lydon sidestepping. Nearly through, and he's well tackled by Friend. Takes him round the ankles. Edwards going through from acting half-back. Gets a good pass out onto Hanley. Hanley out to Russell. Russell trying to beat them. Decides he's better coming inside, and he runs into the cover defence. Kiss out to Edwards. Edwards handing it on. Head down and bash, trying to knock the way through the forward, trying to bulldoze the way. Gregory waiting first pass onto Edwards. Edwards back onto Gregory. And the pass has been knocked down as Goodway was steaming onto a short pass. But Timothy Varvey coming through, knocked the ball down, spoiled the move. Ace been picked up by the Auckland loose forward, and Hanley comes round to some other friend. Creaker running the ball out. Runs into Gildart and Edwards. Timothy Varvey waiting behind to play the ball. Short one, once again it's tight in the forwards as Horo done a lot of strong hard running. Auckland now moving it out wide. Marshall has to come in, but Auckland up quickly, a long wild pass, and bounces before it reaches anybody. Hanley going across, and Horo gets the ball well out to Panama. Panama trying to beat them on the outside, and his feet go under him on this slippy service, and the referee says 5 tackles have gone, and they're keeping the ball moving as it comes to Brown. Brown hoists a high one. Going to bounce. Stevenson takes it onto Hampson. Hampson being well tackled by Horo, swings him round. Stevenson onto Marshall, acting half-back. Marshall puts his shoulder in, against 10 valuable yards of ground. Gregory to Goodway. Goodway holding it out onto Edwards. Edwards, a long pass onto Lydon. Lydon dummy, coming inside. Good break by Lydon. Gets it onto Russell. Russell coming up to the halfway line. But this cover defence of Auckland is extremely good. They're always in the right place at the right time as Edwards sends a long one on to Wayne. Wayne holding it. Wayne trying to break through, and his arms are locked. He can't get rid of it on the halfway line. Edwards waiting behind to play the ball onto Gregory. Gregory puts a long grubber kick behind the defence, and that's a good kick. Pine's touch on the 25 line. 23 minutes gone in this first half. Still no score. Territorially, we're going to have more of the game, but Auckland have looked slightly more menacing and more threatening as Friend comes over. They've had a lot of ball from the tight scrum. They've done a lot of feeding. They've been putting the ball in most of the time. And it's out to Friend, onto Freeman. Freeman moves it across onto Creaker. Creaker coming up it very strongly. Wigan having a job to get him down. That was powerful running by Creaker. Friend moving it out to the right wing, a long one from the loose forward. Lovely break down the centre, and that was a high swing by Goodway. He's going to be in trouble. Didn't connect, but the arm went out, and so Auckland get the penalty. Brown will kick for touch down the Wigan left wing. Makes no mistake with it. Hooker coming up to take the tap. Onto Horo. Horo a short one, now they're moving the ball as Friend gets it out to Freeman. Freeman onto Timothy Varvey. Good hand off by Tim. Freeman blocked through. Good running by New Zealand. He's still going strongly. And they're going to be in. New Zealand have got the first try, and that was a good try to Cooper. After good running by Freeman, the stand-off half eventually managed to crack the Wigan defence, and so Auckland going to a 4-0 lead. Well, that move was started from the tap penalty. The run around was worked with second row man, and Freeman frequently doing onto Timothy Varvey. Not Wigan flying. Freeman in it again. Freeman taking them inside, and he will not be tackled. Turns it, and it's a lovely finishing run by Cooper to give them the first try. kicked 15 yards in on the 25 line. Wigan having a conference of war in the in-goal area as Brown comes up, stabs at it. It looks a good kick, and it is sure and true, right over in the middle. Auckland 6, Wigan 0. A game that Auckland will be very keen to win, as Wigan have already beaten Manly this season, the Australian champions. So Wigan are unofficial world champions, but they're struggling at the moment against Auckland. Joe Lydon to restart. Well taken by Horo. Coming in hard up to the 25. Hooker. Switch of direction. Kick behind the Wigan defence. Coming to Hampson and takes it well as ever. Beats the loose forward very nicely, but the second tackler comes up to take him. David Stevenson making a determined run. Gains a lot of ground. Kiss with Gregory at first pass. Gregory to Edwards. Edwards holding back to Gregory. Gregory on to Hanley. Hanley looking for support. On to Gregory. An overhead pass. Lydon can't take it cleanly. The ball's loose. Fly kick through to Wigan, and Russell drops on it. Gildart trying to make a dart from behind the play the ball. To Gregory. Gregory on to Edwards. Edwards holding it, switches it back inside to Hanley. Hanley back to Gregory. Gregory moving it out on to Gildart. Gildart going forward, but Wigan finding it hard to beat this defence, and the referee says 5 tackles have gone, and Lydon puts a kick in. Grubber kick. Finds touch inside the Auckland 25. And few voices cheering out on the popular side for Auckland. The ball shoots out the Auckland side. Friend trying to bring it away. He runs into Edwards, and Edwards puts him down. A bit of help from Lydon. New Zealand playing good football at the moment, causing Wigan a lot of problems. Good, hard, clean game. David Stevenson in quickly. It's thrown back onto the loose forward. Marshall's in quickly, and a little bit of untidiness there in the New Zealand side. Lonigan holding his arm somewhat. An overhead kick behind the Wigan defence. Hampson having to go right across the field inside his own 25. Picks it up. He has Russell with him. Using on his feet, go from under him. Wigan push back to their own 25. It comes inside to Edwards. Edwards, little overhead kick. Goodway's up to take it well. Turns it inside. Hanley can't take it cleanly. And it's Auckland who are coming away with it now. Turning defence into attack. Clayton Friend moves it back. Freeman out onto Regan. Regan on to Lonigan. And Lonigan is put down by the Wigan props. Hooker waiting behind the play of the ball to Cooper. Cooper, Holy, it sends a long pass out onto Horo. Creaker coming up into the attack to act in half-back. Gets it out onto Cooper. Cooper back onto Creaker. Edwards hanging on to him, and now it's Wigan pushing them back. New Zealand losing ground in possession there as Wigan strong in the tackle. Drive them back nearly to the halfway line. Acting halfback turns it inside. Creaker keeping it moving. The referee signals that 5 tackles have gone. As it comes to Friend running it out. A long pass out onto the wing. Rubber kick comes to Russell. He can't take it cleanly. Knocks it on his own 25. So the advantage is going to go to New Zealand. It will be New Zealand to feed the scrum. 10 minutes left of this first half. Auckland leading by 6 points to 0. Ball shoots straight out the side of the scrum. Friend keeping it moving on to Panama. Panama coming in. Runs into the pack as it breaks up. Wigan crowd not happy with the ball, where the ball's coming away from the scrum. As Timovarvi tries to come through. Hero waiting behind to play the ball. On to Lonergan. Lonergan running into the Wigan defence. Goodway puts him down. Hooker now waiting at acting half-back. To Regan. Regan driving up the Wigan defence. He's down by both Wigan half-backs. Hooker to Friend. Friend, a long pass across the field. Stretches the Wigan defence. Ball being held as Hanley comes. The referee says the pass was forward. Line looking injured, needing attention as the trainer comes on the field. Wigan still packing the 5 forward, so they're a back short as Line gets attention. And Gregory comes round from the New Zealand side of the pack to put the ball in. In it goes, coming out to Wigan. Gregory holding it, trying to break through. Can't get away from the clutches of the loose forward. Bad play the ball. Hanley gets it out onto Edwards. Edwards gets it to Hampson. Hampson driving in again into the defence. Lucas. Wigan playing one-man rugby at the moment. Ball's gone loose and New Zealand could well have it. Referee seeing what's happening. And it looks like New Zealand's ball. Lucas having lost the ball in the tackle. Comes out to Friend. Friend on to Freeman. Freeman going back to nice dummy. Edwards gets away from Edwards. Good running by Freeman. Out to the wing going for the line. And he's in. Good finishing by Horo. After once again it was Freeman who cracked the Wigan defence. Got the ball out well. On to Horo. And Horo went lightning for the corner flag to make it now Wigan 0, Auckland 10. And as we look at that again from Regan's play the ball, it's Freeman who's the instigator, the mainspring of the move. First a beautiful dummy, then an elusive run, and a long, wide, accurate pass out to Horo for Horo to go over for Auckland's second try. Freeman causing Wigan a lot of problems. 8 minutes to go to half-time. Long kick for Brown. A foot or so in from the left-hand touchline. And Wigan don't seem to have any answer at all to this extremely well-organised Auckland defence. That one's off the target. But Wigan have never really looked like cracking this Auckland defence. Crowd rising a bit to them at the moment, urging them on. And they're going to need a lot more coordination to crack this extremely solid, efficient-looking defence of Auckland's. Leiden. Once again, it's well covered by Horo. Brings it outside the 25 before he succumbs to the tattlers. Hooker coming through from acting half-back. Gets 10 yards of ground. Horo, short pass out onto Lonergan. Lonergan running wide. Gregory follows him across and he hasn't gained any ground as Leiden comes in. Kick behind the Wigan defence. Hampson takes it well as ever. Dummying, gets out of one tackle. Playing it very, very safely in Tim Harvey. It's Freeman who's hurt on the floor. Comes inside to David Stevenson. Puts his shoulder in, knocks Brown flying in the first effort. Now the Wigan crowd are screaming for the Wigan players as it comes on to Lucas. Lucas batters his way over the halfway line. Gregory waiting at first pass, holding it, going down the middle of the field on his own. He's taken by the forwards. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards holding it, dummying, bringing Hanley back in the middle. Hanley managed to hand it on. Wigan putting a lot of effort in, but that's 5 tackles gone as it comes to Lydon. Lydon kicks and it's been knocked down by Shane Horo. Shane Horo coming back in the middle, and Wigan are in with Edwards and Mother hanging on to him. He still won't go down, and 2 more Wigan players have to come over before he's forced down to the deck. Creaker moving it across, long pass onto the loose form, moved well, switch back inside, and that's good play by Auckland from inside their own 25. Bags of confidence as they swung the ball about. Still keeping the ball moving. Brown can't get rid of it as Kiss came in to take him. Kick coming in here, and it's a good kick, a good defensive kick, brings them out of their own half and puts them in a strong attacking position now, just outside the Wigan 25. Brown still not down as the pack wheels. Both sides the wrong way round. And wingman Horo's gone into the loose forward position, and Freeman, the standoff's gone out onto the wing. He's not long pass to Edwards. Edwards to Stevenson. Stevenson gets out of one tackle, still going a long overhead pass that's going to go behind Russell and into touch. A wild, wild desperation pass. 3 minutes to go to half time. Wigan not seeming to know what to do, in a bit of a dilemma at the moment. Friend puts it in, and he's penalty to Wigan for incorrect feeding. Bit of relief for Wigan. They've been under a lot of pressure. Joe Lydon to kick for touch down the Auckland right wing. So Wigan to restart with a tap penalty, 35 yards from their own try line. Once again, Kiss goes a long way. 2 balls on the field at the moment. As it comes inside, Wigan once more trying to bat it on. Ooh, and Edwards was steaming through on that one and he couldn't get it out to him. A wild pass and Wigan have lost possession again. Tim of Harvey's on it quickly. Bit of desperation in Wigan's play as Regan moves it out to Cooper. Cooper up to Brown. Brown keeping it moving. Ball's loose. And Wigan quickly onto it. Gregory waiting behind to play the ball. Onto Edwards, not accurate passing, and Edwards is having to come back this way. Onto Marshall. Marshall being bounced down by the forwards and picked up and hurled back. Edwards to Gregory. Gregory to Wayne. Wayne sees a gap, he just can't get through it. His arms are locked. 2 minutes to half time. It goes, a wild pass goes across onto Goodway. Goodway decided he's going to try and break through. Gets his pass in. Referee says it was forward as Hampson came tearing through on that ball. Referee Kershaw right at the top of the game, refereeing well this afternoon. As we come up almost to the half-time mark with Auckland leading by 10 points to nil. Still a lot of trouble among these front rows. And the referee telling them to get wide apart, get away from each other. They're reluctant, and in they go. Now the pack's on. And another penalty for incorrect feeding. Crowd getting very annoyed over on the far side of the field. The referee making sure there's no trouble as the scrum breaks up. And Lydon once again from 10 yards inside his own half. Finds touch halfway between the halfway line and the Auckland 25. Lucas turning onto Gregory to Edwards. Edwards to Goodway. Goodway to Hanley, and Hanley's lost it. Ball's on the floor and Hanley regains possession. And there goes the hooter for the end of the first half. A lot of booing from the crowd. I don't know why. It's been a good half game. Not spectacular. But we go in for the half-time break with a score Wigan 0 and Auckland 10. A deserved 10-point lead. Fire in the belly. Any substitutions been made? So we come to the start of the second half. Auckland with a 10 points to 0 lead, and kicking off from left to right. A high one to Lydon. Lydon holding it, going to belt it back down the field. To Panaper going across. Creaker at full-back taking it on his own 25, and he's going to kick left-footed. Coming to Hampson, and Hampson decides he's going to kick. And caught cleanly again, and now we have an old-fashioned kicking duel, and that's the bad one. It comes to Gregory. Gregory out to Lydon. Lydon turning forward, going for the line, bringing Russell inside, and Russell manages to keep in play. Gregory onto Edwards. Edwards to Goodway. Goodway trying to bash his way through them. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards changing direction. And the Wigan driving forward as Hampson goes down 12 yards out. Kiss to Edwards. Edwards to Goodway. Goodway battering for the line. Ball's gone astray, and Wigan's final passes breaks down when they looked as if they'd broken through in the first minute. Wigan looking a lot more lively at the start of this second half. 10-point deficit to wipe out as Auckland move the ball out near their own line, and Wigan go in and push them back. Lonergan caught in possession, and he's lost the ball, and Wigan have it, and there's a gap. Wigan go on the hell, just short of the line. Kiss caught it behind the play of the ball before he can get his pass in. The New Zealand player flat out on the floor as it comes to Gregory. Gregory long onto Edwards to Hanley. Hanley to Goodway, on to Hampson. Hampson going for the line, and his pass has been intercepted by Panaper as he's tried to throw it out to the wing. But Wigan looking very lively in this first minute, and Auckland struggling on their own line. But Wigan not been able to turn it into points. Lucas goes in hard into the tackle. Horo behind the play of the ball. Both Wigan props take him. Regan going crossfield, put down in the fifth tackle. Wigan trying to hold them there, and there comes the kick behind the defence. Marshall taking it, running in field, beats one tackle, still going, and eventually down by Hero. Hanley deciding he's having a run from behind the play of the ball, but he doesn't get very far. Comes out to Gregory. Gregory holding it, being forced back into play. Gets his pass in, but Wigan are being held in the middle. Auckland are lining up very close and moving in quickly. As Gregory dummies, Gregory's making the break, gets it on to Edwards. Edwards going to the line, puts a little overhead kick, Hanley's up there. And is the referee going to give the obstruction? He is. Edwards was obstructed when he put the kick through. And so Wigan have a chance to reduce the arrears. Penalty is 2 yards from the line. Hanley decides we'll kick for goal. There's only 3 minutes of the second half gone. It's an easy one. Only 7 or 8 yards to the left of the post. And Wigan come out a much better looking side than the one that went in on half-time. A lot more spirit, a lot more fire in the belly, a lot more determination in the play in these opening minutes. Wigan 0, Auckland 2. 4 minutes gone. As Stevenson sets it up for this, what should be a simple penalty. Rain still coming down, greasy conditions. And makes no mistake, Wigan's first points, Wigan 2, Auckland 10. Harvey. Short one along the ground. Good way, turns it inside to Gregory, a long one across onto Hampson. Hampson dummying it. Knocked down to the ground as Timothy Harvey comes in to tackle him. Lydon going through from behind the play, the ball sidestepping, knocks off one, gets his pass into Stevenson. Stevenson bringing Marshall inside. The blue jerseys cover across well. Kiss wanting to get on with it quickly. A bad pass out to Edwards, which does well to pick up off the deck. Kiss to Wayne. On to Gregory. Gregory kicks behind the defence. And it looks a good kick, but Panama's there in time. He does well to keep it in play. Panama coming inside. Runs into the Wigan forwards as they come up well. Lucas and Goodway. On to Creaker. Creaker decides he's going to give his team time to regroup. Brings it up to the halfway line. Hooker waiting behind to play the ball. Hooker on to Friend. Friend moving a long one. On to Freeman. Freeman turning it back inside. This time he can't get away from the Wigan tattlers. Friend going well from behind to play the ball. On to Cooper, moving it across, coming back inside. Wigan holding Auckland quite well at the moment. And Auckland bounces in the ready for a kick, and it's rolled back. Freeman once again, and Freeman's made a lovely break again. Freeman causing all the trouble. Surely that's forward. Auckland not happy about it, but the referee says it was forward after a good break by Freeman. And Wigan penalised before the pack gets down. Brown to kick for touch. Down the Wigan right wing. Pushes Wigan back into the 25. Hooker coming over to restart with the tap. Hooker to Brown. Brown nearly through, and nicely onto Friend, and Friend is snatched out of the air as he was turning towards the Wigan line. Now it's Regan setting it up. Regan coming in strongly. Auckland hot on the attack now, underneath the Wigan post, as Hooker moves it to Friend. Friend a long wide pass. Cooper turning back inside. And Auckland looking very, very strong as they battering away now at the Wigan line. Out to Friend. Friend changing direction, running back inside, and with a job putting him down. Still 10 yards out from the Wigan line. Comes out to Cooper. Cooper And Freeman is snatched out of the air by Goodway. Referee says 5 tackles have gone as Timothy Harvey comes over onto Friend, who tried to drop goal. She's been charged down. And the referee's going to say it's 6 tackles, so we'll roll over. Kiss waiting behind to play the ball. Wigan very much bunched as Kiss decides he's going to try and bring it away. Now Gregory comes up. And referee says they're not retiring, and Wigan have got a penalty just outside their own 25. Lydon. Good kick by Lydon. Takes it into the Auckland half of the field. Kiss. Short pass. Lucas taking them on. Trying to suck them in. Comes out to Gregory. Edward back to Gregory. Wigan have dropped the ball. Cooper has it. Gregory coming in with Edwards. Upend the man and down him. And that looked a bit high there as Regan was taken out, but it didn't catch him on the head. Kick behind the Wigan defence has been charged down. It comes to Lydon. Lydon running cross field. Still being held, but he managed to get possession for Wigan. Kiss going through from acting half-back. Nearly up to the 25 before he has to die with it. Hanley behind to play the ball. Wayne turning it onto Edwards. Edwards twisting and turning, gunning, but there's no way through this tight Auckland defence. And lying on in between the balls, says the referee, and Toro wouldn't get out of the way, and it's another penalty to Wigan, right in front of the post. Kiss was getting very annoyed though that he couldn't get to play the ball, and Toro was lying in between the Wigan tackle player and the acting half-back. Just 10 minutes of the second half gone. Wigan 2, Auckland 10. And Wigan coming into the game a lot more. And it looks as if Auckland are making a substitution. And Peter Opate will be coming onto the field. And Lonergan it is who's come off, and Peter Opate is coming on. Lonergan's number 10. Wigan 4, Auckland 10. Timothy Harvey then. Along the ground, coming to Gregory, sits up nicely for him. Long pass across to Hampson. Hampson holding it, gets it out onto line. He's going to get him killed. A bit of an infirmary pass, and he's bounced down. Now Wigan trying to batter the way out of the 25 line, and Auckland hanging on to Hanley. Comes to Edwards. Edwards a long pass to Gregory. Gregory changing direction, trying to come down the middle, looking for support, but he can't get the ball moving. Comes to Edwards. Edwards an overhead kick. And he finds touch on the halfway line. Hit the ground, inches inside the touch line. Ball comes out the Wigan side, out to Edwards. Edwards running it cross field, dummying with it, gets it out to Lydon. Lydon trying to hand one off, and he's been taken from behind. Can't get away from that good tackling. Comes on to Edwards. Edwards a short pass. Wigan trying to crash the way through again. Comes out to Edwards. Edwards to Hanley. Back on to Edwards. On to Goodway. Goodway through. Going hard for the line. Knocks off one. Turning inside. But he couldn't get his pass to Stevenson. And that was a good run by Goodway. With the lying on at the play of the ball. And Wigan got another penalty. Not getting the advantage of the break. Referee wanted them off more quickly. And Wigan decide they're going to kick. They're 6 points behind. This will put them... Hanley having a long talk with the referee. "13 minutes of the second half. Wigan coming right back into the game now. Fitness could well be the deciding factor in the last 20 minutes. David Stevenson taking a lot of care with this penalty kick. And he's pulled it wide, and it's going to be run out by Creaker. Creaker running it out. Wigan having missed a good run by Creaker. Splits Wigan up right down the middle. Long pass goes out to the wing. Wigan in a lot of trouble as New Zealand streak down the field, and Hero Golden line comes across well to set them, but that was a lovely move, and Wigan penalised for lying on at the play of the ball, and now it's New Zealand who've lost the advantage. And that was a lovely breakout from his own in-goal area by Creaker. And Brown pushes Wigan right back to 10 yards from their own line. So instead of Wigan getting the 2 points, it's New Zealand again, hot on the attack. 10 yards out from the Wigan line. Hooker coming over to take the tap. Moves it to Cooper. Cooper across to Friend. Friend going to try and make a break, but he's down by Gregory. Out to Cooper. Cooper on to Rapati, who's come in as substitute, taken by Goodway. Cooper waiting behind the play of the ball to Regan, doing the run around. On to Panapus coming inside, and he goes down. Wigan defending stoutly at the moment as Hooker moves it to Friend. Friend a long pass behind Freeman. On to Timavami. A beautiful dummy by Timavami. And Wigan just managed to smother it at the end. Bit of fighting going on the feet, on the floor for the ball, and Wigan have got the penalty. Temperature of this game rising. Emotions getting a bit frayed. And Lydon is called over to give Wigan some relief with a penalty from 5 yards out from their own line, and he bangs it up to the 25 line. Kiss puts his head down, bullocks and barges his way forward. Now Wayne trying to have a run, and his feet are taken from under him. Kiss's pass is not a good one, and it's flicked away, and that could be dangerous, and it's retrieved by Stevenson. That was loose played by Wigan. Coming on to Lucas. And Auckland are all fired up at the moment as they're going in hard into the Wigan team. And a penalty to Wigan for offside. Perhaps a little too fired up, little too keen, coming forward too soon. And Joe Lydon finds touch. 10 yards short of the halfway line. Kiss coming up. Gives it to Lucas. Lucas puts his shoulder in, and Brown puts him down with Rapati. Gregory to Edwards. Edwards back to Gregory, and pass has been knocked down by Cooper. And the referee's let it go! And this is going to be a try from a blatant knock-on. Well, that was a bad mistake by the referee. The referee's calling them back. He's giving the knock-on. He had a look at the touch shot, but it was such a blatant knock-on. One wonders why he didn't give it at the beginning. But he let him run a long, long way there before he called him back. Gregory to feed the scrum. In it goes, hanging in the pack, out to Edwards. Edwards gets it onto Stevenson. Stevenson bringing his wingman inside, brings Marshall inside. Edwards going crossfield to Hanley. Hanley a wild pass along the floor, and it's been kicked through, and Wigan have lost possession. And Wigan are all at 6s and 7s now. They're bringing vigour in, which is not necessary, and Wigan are going to have to pay the price. The players have been loose, they're getting very ragged, as are the tempers, and they've given the penalty away, and this is a kickable one for Auckland. Just halfway through the second half, 19 minutes gone. Wigan 4, Auckland 10. Referee marking the 10 yards out, making Wigan go back. Paced it out for them. That's an appeal by Brown. Hard, tough, close game this, as Brown prepares to kick down to the Wigan spine cop end. He lifts it high and wide, and Wigan decide to run it out. And a bundle down on their own try line. Hansen trying to bring it away, and he's going to get a penalty because they wouldn't let him get up. Silly mistake by Auckland, gives Wigan a chance for another penalty, and Lydon makes no mistake with it, bringing relief again to Wigan. Kiss once more, straight into the defence. Gregory onto Wayne. Wayne running at the forwards. Kiss to Gregory, and Auckland caught yards offside at the play of the ball. Both sides losing a bit of control, losing the cool. Joe Lydon having a word with Stevenson, and Lydon decides he's going to kick for goal. It's a long-range one. Wigan needing all the points they can get to get back into this game, and they're not having a lot of luck in the try-scoring stakes. It's a long, long kick for Joe Lydon. It's 5 yards into the Auckland half, right in the middle of the field. Powerful kicker, Joe, but it's not a good day for goal kicking. It's ball must be very greasy as the drizzling rain comes down. So he stabs at it, and it's over. Good kick by Lydon. Wigan 6, Auckland 10. One try can do it. So we're in for a desperate last 18 minutes as Timothy Harvey sets it up. Oh, and it's been snapped up by Brown, turning it inside. Oh, we're going hard for the line, and he's taken out. That mistake by Wigan. Rapati now setting his side up as Freeman makes a break, and it's a lovely break. Hands it on to Timothy. Timothy coming back inside onto Hooker, and Hooker's taken out a yard short of the Wigan line. And now it's Auckland once more, hot on the attack, hammering the Wigan line as Friend moves it across onto Rapati. Wigan desperately holding on by the fingernail, 10 yards out from their own line. Comes on to short one, and he dropped the ball, and Wigan have got it. Hansen grasped that for a lifeline. Russell waiting behind the play of the ball. Russell gains 2 yards of ground. Panapay's hurt near the try line. As Wigan fighting for every inch, trying to bring the ball away. Greg decides he's going to run it out. He doesn't get very far. Auckland in very quickly to do the tackling stint. And it's Edwards who gets it. Edwards holding it, moving it across to Hanley. And even Hanley can't get through. The referee signaling 5 tackles have gone as Edwards flings it back to Lydon. Lydon sidestepping, manages to get his kick in. As it goes out to Horo. Horo jumping, coming inside, and he's taken on the halfway line. Creaker inside, moving it across. Wayne and Goodway go into the tattle. Friend going through from acting half-back. Has his feet taken from under him. Hooker coming through, and Wigan seem to sleep there as Hooker fought his way forward. Edwards yanking away at the ball, but can't get it off him. Switch of direction inside. A strong run by the number 8 prop. Referee says 5 tackles have gone. As Cooper comes up behind the play of the ball, he's going to try and drop goal. And it goes wide and dead. Back to the Wigan 25 then. As Gregory comes up, takes the tap. Russell's come in from the wing. Bad play the ball to Gildart. Gildart can only run across the field. Comes out to Gregory, to Edwards, back on to Gregory. A good way, they're keeping a close eye on him, and he has to go down as Cooper comes in with Freeman to tackle him. Gregory, long pass back onto Lydon. Lydon kicks behind the defence. It's a long kick, and it rolls into touch on the 25 line. That saved his forwards an awful lot of graft. 15 minutes to go then, 4 points in it. Wigan 6, Auckland 10 as we go back to the Auckland 25 line to scrum down with Freeman to put, Friend to put the ball in. It comes out to Wigan, and Gregory knocks on at the side of the scrum. Comes out to New Zealand, and a lovely break by Auckland, right from the base of the scrum. Tremendous, he's had a great game as Freeman. Creaker behind the play of the ball, trying to get his line moving. Timovavi coming back inside, back onto Creaker. Creaker trying to come down the middle. Wigan desperately backpedaling. Cooper gets it out onto Brown. Brown going very strongly forward, he's met equally determinedly. Comes out to Friend onto Regan. Regan back onto Friend onto here. He did well to take that in Hero to hang on to that. Friend waiting behind the play of the ball. Inside to Panapa. Panapa's followed and put down. O'Regan behind the play of the ball. Out to Cooper. Cooper hoists a high one. Hampson's there, takes it well. Being held and swung round by Horo. Wigan now trying to batter the way out of their own 25. Kiss decides he's going to make a break, and he's through, getting a lot of ground. He couldn't get rid of the ball as he backed him up. Goes out to Gregory. Gregory puts the kick in behind the defence. It's rolling over the touchline. Creaker chasing it, but he only knocks it back. He keeps it in play. Gets possession for Auckland, and Gregory's up there to put him down, but Auckland now have it just outside the run, and he's not getting up. Referee stops the clock. And this has been a titanic struggle, both sides giving it all that they've got. They've really battled hard. in a good, clean game. Breathing again and back on his feet. Auckland with it 10 yards outside their own 25. Trying to come through from acting half-back, and Gregory's in very quickly. And Wigan penalised for Morning for not getting off him in the play of the ball. Referee must have said held. Brown will kick for touch down the Wigan right wing. Makes no mistake with it. Wigan again pushed back into their own half. Hooker coming up to Rapati. Rapati charging at the Wigan defence. No lack of determination as it comes to Brown, and Brown charging over the Wigan 25 line. Goes to Cooper. Cooper, a long pass stretching the Wigan defence, has been dropped. Come to Wigan, onto Marshall. To Edwards. Edwards to Gregory. Back on to Edwards. Wigan go around in decreasing circles as Auckland are moving up very quickly onto Wigan. Funneling them back in. Wigan can't get moving. Now Gregory changes direction. And Lucas decides he'll do it by brute force. To Gregory. Gregory on to Edwards. Edwards moving it along the line. Hadley, lob pass. Wigan in a bit of trouble. The ball's whipped back onto Goodway. Goodway trying to bust through, but he's well taken. Sure tackling puts him down. Kiss coming through from the play of the ball, getting a lot of ground. Going to get caught with it, no, can't get rid of it. I think the referee's signalling that's 5 as it's flung back to Lydon. And Lydon hoists a high ball. Should be covered by Wingman. Horo takes it well. Can't get past his man on the outside, and Hero going over. Kevin Hero behind the play of the ball, moves it inside onto Creaker. Creaker runs into the Wigan forwards. Moving it along the line, overhead kick, Hanson's there to take it, it sits up for him. Going into the middle, but there's a lot of blue jerseys. He's taken by Friend. Gildart decides he's going to play them on his own. He's getting nowhere. Bad play the ball. Kiss having to fumble with it. Has to die with it. Wayne coming up to acting half-back. Wayne to Gregory. Gregory to Edwards. Edwards a long one to Hanley. Hanley knocks off one. They're still hanging on to him. He's still trying to force his way, but they're keeping a close watch on him altogether. Comes to Edwards. Edwards to Gregory. Gregory holding it. And we're going to knock down as they're receiving the ball. As Wayne getting up to play it. Gregory being caught behind the play of the ball. Lets the ball go to Kiss. Kiss gets it moving. Hanson kicks left-footed. Taken by Panama. Panama turns it inside to Creaker. Creaker going across the field, being chased by Hadley and Gregory. 10 minutes to go in this so tight game. Panama's cut right across the field, taking in an active half-back. Plays it back to Regan. Regan turning it inside. Rapati still on his feet. When he get his pass in, on to Brown. Regan trying to bust his way through. Wigan holding on to them. And he's not getting up. Referee stops the clock. Both these teams will know they've been in a game when they come off in 9 minutes' time. Friend holding it, short pass on to Freeman. Freeman coming inside, but nearly through again. Referee signalling that 5 tackles have gone. Friend sends a long one. Kick behind the Wigan defence is a good one, into touch. Good kick by Tim of Harvey. And the referee giving Wigan a penalty. There must have been an obstruction off the ball. Lydon finds it inside the 25. It didn't go in cleanly, bounced before it went in. Now the crowd roar, wanting Wigan to pull this game out of the bag. Wigan forming the wall, going to work a move. Edwards swings it back to Gregory. And Wigan have lost the ball, going for the line. It's been played on. The referee's going to give the knock on as Wigan went over. Wigan broke the defence but couldn't hold the ball cleanly, and so we scrum down 10 yards out. And a penalty to Auckland at the scrum. Wigan not backing down correctly. Tim of Harvey to kick down the Wigan right wing. Finds it just outside his own 25. Hooker, short pass, tight in the forwards. I presume what they have now, they'll hang on to it for dear life on their own 25. And that was a crunching tackle by Lucas. Forwards coming in hard, good run by Brown, fighting for every inch of territory. Hooker moving it across, long one from Cooper, out and straight into touch. Gregory to feed the scrum. Back's not straight. Referee trying to wheel them round, coming in to Gregory to Edwards. Edwards out, long one onto Hampson. Hampson going through, gets it onto Russell. Russell taken on the 25 line and flung into touch. So wasted possession by Wigan. Run it straight across to the touch line. Don't get the 6 tackles out of it. The referee wanting them out on the 10-yard line, and they're not going. They're well into the field of players. It ball goes into the pack. Friend making a break round the blind side. Greggy follows him across and takes him. Panaper trying to make a break, gains a lot of ground. Good clearing run from acting halfback. Cooper moves it inside onto Rapati. Wigan forwards follow him across the field. Hooker waiting behind to play the ball, doing the run around. They switch it back onto the strong second row man hero. Hooker switch back inside to Brown. Brown driving hard forward. Referee says 5 tackles have gone. As Hooker hands the ball on. Freeman a little overhead kick, which is dangerous, and Hampson can't take it cleanly, and there's a stack of New Zealanders up there. They regain possession. Not so often that Hampson misses one, but he made a mess of that, and now it's Auckland hot on the attack, stretching Wigan as Brown moves it out onto Hero. Hero's still going, and his pass has gone astray and into touch. Five minutes to go, 4 points in it, and Wigan looking as if they're not going to get a try, and it's a long time. A penalty to Wigan for incorrect scrummaging. Long time since Wigan played a game and didn't cross the opposition's line. Line takes it quickly. A good kick, takes it over the halfway line. Last ditch effort coming up for Wigan as Kiss comes up onto Lucas. Lucas turning, Gregory, a long one to Edwards. Edwards stretching the defence to Goodway. Goodway onto Stevenson, nearly had his head taken off, and there's a Wigan player flattened down here as it comes inside, a long one to Edwards. Edwards decides he's going to go down the middle and he runs into trouble. Kiss to Gregory, Gregory holding it. On to Gildart, Gildart on to Russell. Russell bounces off one, put down, a few yards in from the touchline. Comes to Gregory, Gregory holding it. On to Edwards, Edwards trying to sidle his way through and it doesn't come off. Kiss going through from the play, the ball stumbling back to Edwards. Edwards a long pass out to Russell, who's faced with a lot of defence. On the 25 line, 5 gone. Gregory coming over, Gregory to Edwards, Edwards going to put a kick, hoists it high, Hampson's following it, Hampson takes it, but can't get it cleanly, the ball's loose and Wigan are in and it's scored! No, he says knock on. Try disallowed, Wigan knocked on, short of the line, 5-yard scrum, 3 minutes to go. Wigan nearly pulled it out of the bag with that kick from Edwards. Hampson underneath it, couldn't take it cleanly. Friend feeds and Friend gets it out. Still on his feet, getting his line moving. Good running again by Freeman. He's lost the ball and it must be a forward pass. Referee stepping in to stop any battling. So it's a scrum down and Wigan to feed. 2 minutes to go. Auckland lying up very flat with the forwards. Wigan line out deep. Auckland lying out flat. Wigan expecting to get the ball. And penalty to Wigan. Scrum infringement. Surely we're not going to finish up battling with just 2 minutes to go. What's been a great game. Forwards sorting themselves out. Auckland not 10 points back. Take the short tap. Trying to batter the way through the line. Wigan crowd roaring the favourites on now. As it comes to Gregory. Gregory trying to go on his own. A solid wall of blue jerseys batter him down. Edwards said he's going to play him on his own and he can't get through. Kiss. Wigan holding it, a long one onto Hampson. Hampson going back inside. And he's still struggling, but he can't get rid of the ball. David Stevenson's come up. David Steam decides he's going to try and score on his own. And it's 39 minutes and they're dragging him over the touchline. And he manages to stay in play. As it comes to Lydon, Lydon hoists a wild kick. And Wigan can't get it, they've knocked it, so it's from the 25. And there goes the hooter. What has been a great game, won by Auckland. The final score, Wigan 6, Auckland 10. This is your commentator, John McDermott, hoping you've enjoyed the film made by cameraman David Shaw and coming to you from Micron Electric of Gidler Lane, Wigan. On to Horo. Horo a short one down the moving the ball as Fred gets it out to Freeman. Freeman on to Tim Varney. Good hand off by Tim. Freeman broke through. Good running by New Zealand. He's still going strongly. And they're going to be in. New Zealand have got the first try, and that was a good try.